Okay, everybody. Sorry, I know it's been a minute. I was planning on, finishing the third and fourth quarter the next day and the day after, and it just didn't work out. Mainly because school started again, and this semester's gonna be a little bit more busy. Got a lot more homework, so the videos will not be as consistent as I would like them to be. But I am gonna finish this Florida State series. Basically almost done with the fourth quarter, so I'll be able to upload that too. Initially, my plans was to analyze every Alabama game this season. With the way it's going right now, I'm not sure if I'll be able to pull that off. I may have to do some smaller, quicker, more general but still good analysis of the games. But we'll see how I do that in regards to time. I also want to do other games. I know some of you wanted to hear what I had to say about the Auburn Clemson game. I will probably still do that, but it might be a little bit later, much further along than you would care to see at that point. But I still will get it out. Maybe even Ohio State, Oklahoma, although they end up being more of a blowout toward the end of the stretch. But either way, uh, I will make videos. I just don't know when they'll come out. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, let's start the third quarter today of the Alabama Florida State game. So here we are. So Florida State starts with the ball at the start of the third quarter here. Cam Akers at running back, and they had three wide receiver formation here. So they need Cam Akers to ball a lot going into this third quarter. They're trying to get back into the game and get themselves reestablished. Levi Wallace is at field cornerback now, so officially now Levi Wallace is playing in place of Trevon Diggs here. And I don't know if it was because Trevon Diggs was like busting some coverage or whatnot, or was it because he's just been a little inconsistent, or whatever it may be. Wallace definitely got most of the snaps in the second half, and it paid off. Keith Holcomb started out at the will linebacker position. I don't know why, but he showed us why the game went along. And Minkah Fitzpatrick here is in the slot, so they sent him on a blitz. And then who did I have on the side here? Oh, Terrell Lewis was rushing from the right end position on like the outside linebacker. So we reverted. We went to more like a one outside linebacker formation here at this point. To save on depth since we lost some guys already. So it was a little interesting. Um, and from that position, actually, he was able to trip Cam Akers before he can really get anything going there. So he saved some running room there. Now, the 14-minute, 28-second mark, Keith Holcomb and Ronnie Harrison on a blitz. So they sent both of them on a blitz here. But the Florida State line, they pick it up really well here, and they give Francois time. And there's some really good Alabama played zone coverage here, and Terrell Lewis actually dropped. He dropped back into play coverage, and I was like, okay, look at him go. He was in the perfect position, but the ball went right through his raised arm. So he raised his hands to knock the ball down, and as he was going up, the ball went through here. It's just like it was so unfortunate. Could have been a pick, could have been knocked down, batted ball, whatever. But it went right through him, and it was a first down catch. I think Keith Gavin was the one who caught it. Levi Wallace was right there though. But dang, it was rough. 13 minutes 54 seconds. Uh, from left to right, it was Deshaun Hand, Isaiah Buggs, Deron Payne, and Terrell Lewis. Uh, Basically, that one outside linebacker formation. Florida State, they handled the pocket well, but it really wasn't much of a rush from Alabama. It looked like it was more pocket containment of anything, make sure Francois doesn't run. And Francois was able to get off a first down throw because of it. Now, the next play, they got a quick snap. They hurry up and got to the line of scrimmage. They tried to do a stretch run right for Cam Akers. He picks a hole on the right side. And it was a good decision by him, a good little burst here. He has a really nice acceleration. I really like this Cam Akers guy. But Deron Payne was able to get him after about 4 yards. So Deron Payne reached out and grabbed him, which was good because Cam Akers may have gotten a first down run here, maybe even more. Like I said, he has really good vision. He saw that hole and he has good burst that he was able to run through it. So I like Cam Akers. I like him. 12 minutes, 47 seconds. Minkah Fitzpatrick on a blitz again from the slot. We really like sending Minkah Fitzpatrick on a blitz. He's really good at it, apparently. And Quentin Williams beats the center and the left guard too easily as they try to shift the blocking right. They try to go right on the blocking, but Quentin Williams so quick that he was able to get past them before they even get a hand on him. So center and right guard are moving right, and they're going to get him as he's coming through. But he got through so quickly that they couldn't even touch him, and that caused Francois to hit a quick outlet to Cam Akers. So Francois, he didn't get too pressure. He saw Akers. He knew Akers was going out, so he threw the ball to him. Sean Dion Hamilton, though, was slow in getting there. So I think it was supposed to be man-to-man coverage, and Sean Dion Hamilton was supposed to be covering the running back. He diagnosed a little bit too long there, and Cam Akers was able to get a first down play out of it. And actually, Deron Payne was the one who caught him. Like, look at big boy hustle here and lay a hit on him. I always hate to see running backs get hit by defensive linemen like that, but Deron Payne hustling to the ball. 12 minutes, 15 seconds. So quarterback draw here from Francois, but it was eaten up. They ate it up as Bama won the line of scrimmage here. And actually, Minkah Fitzpatrick was on the blitz. So that's the third time we sent Minkah on the blitz. We were really dialing up the pressure on Francois, trying to get him uncomfortable. And Fitzpatrick was the one who got Francois actually on this play. Now, at the 11 minutes, 37-second mark, it was another stretch run right. But Sean Dion Hamilton is quick to react. This guy, when he diagnoses and he flies, he's at his best. And he did it here. Wrapped him up for a loss. So we really started keying on the run. They were trying to establish Cam Akers, but Alabama wouldn't let him. Really making it Florida State one-dimensional, which probably led to some of the mistakes that are going to happen later on. Also, on this same play, Minkah Fitzpatrick was whipping the wide receiver trying to block him. He was trying to block Minkah Fitzpatrick, and he's like, sit down. He's like, get out of my way. 10 minutes, 55 seconds. Was it Rashawn Davis? Yeah, Rashawn Davis and Deshaun Hand inside. You guys remember this play. Rashawn Davis. Raekwon Davis absolutely embarrasses Cole Minshew. And remember I talked about in the Michigan-Florida State game. Cole Minshew had trouble using his hands, stopping the really good defensive linemen from getting right back, and they're strong, athletic guys. And it showed up here again. He tried to engage Davis, but Davis simply just kind of got a hand on him, moved him out of the way. He stuck a hand out. He used like the hand and club move. If you're familiar with defensive linemen or people talking about defensive linemen, they got to move where they engage the offensive lineman with one hand, and then they club the side of the offensive lineman so that the offensive lineman can't put the hand on them, and they go around them. Raekwon Davis made it look seamless. Cole Minshew couldn't do anything to stop it, and he just moved him out of the way, and he sacks Francois. That shows you the type of athleticism and talent that Raekwon Davis has, and which most likely why he is the starting left end when he is healthy, when he's not shot and recovering from that bullet, because this guy's talented, big, and strong. He's a monster. So he sacks Francois here, but I noticed his leg was hurting, though. Like, he was getting up, celebrating, getting all hype, but he was still a little limpy and gimpy on his celebrations. So I was like, you need to sit down, big fella. But but definitely see the talent right here. Just go watch it, see how easily he moved him out of the way. 10 minutes, 4 seconds left for Alabama here as we made them punt. So Florida State had got a couple first downs here, and they were moving the ball, but we got them. That was really the last time they actually moved the ball well. That point, remember that was the last possession, first possession in the second half. So Alabama defense really stepped it up. So Bama's on the ball here, 10 minutes, 4 seconds. The tight end flexed right, and we had 3 wide receivers. They sent Tavares McFadden on a boundary blitz, but it was a run inside for Damian Harris. He only got 1 to 2 yards though. Derek Nottie and DeMarcus Christmas, they hold up well, while the 2 linebackers, Matthew Thomas and Rodaire Hoskins, come up to stuff the line of scrimmage. So really nowhere for them to go. 9 minutes, 33 seconds. Some motion faked for Harris to the right, and it ended up being a QB draw for 5 yards up the middle. So nice little run here for Jalen Hurts. He squeezed through the line and getting up the field. 9 minutes, 4 seconds. Calvin Ridley motions from his slot position to the right running back, like to the side of Jalen Hurts, set right to Jalen Hurts. They fake the handoff to Calvin Ridley as the offensive line blocks left. So they fake the handoff to Ridley here to run toward the left, like he was going to do a sweep to the left. But he hands the ball off to Harris instead. Not handoff to Harris. He actually just kind of dumps the ball off here. Harris ran out to a little route. He did an outlet route, just kind of leak out to the right, and just dumps it off to him. Harris gets the edge using a little bit of burst there. Like Damian Harris has some burst. He may not have the fastest long term speed, but he has some burst. Gets the edge, gets the first down. But I noticed Brian Burns, the Florida State defensive end, number 99, that guy can move. He was just chasing him, moving and running down the field. He really showed off his athleticism on this play. I really like watching the Florida State defense. The next play, it was well blocked for Alabama as Calvin Ridley had time for the play to develop, and he ran a great route to destroy Trey Marshall. He just destroyed Trey Marshall on his route, was able to get outside release immediately on him. But Trey Marshall holds him. He holds him to get an intentional pass interference to stop the touchdown. And I was so mad because this drive, just to spoil it for you, this drive ended up not getting anything at all. So we had to punt the ball away. So this play ended up being monumental for Florida State. Alabama could have had points on this play because Jalen Hurts threw this ball. You know, he had protection. He had time to throw this ball. The ball was on the money, too. It was going to land right on top of Calvin Ridley. I can tell just how fast Calvin Ridley was running and where the ball ended up falling. Jalen Hurts put the right amount of touch on this pass. It was going to hit Ridley in stride, and that was a touchdown. That was a touchdown. And it's so unfortunate that Florida State was able to stop us a few plays later and get the ball back. But yeah, it was going to land right on Ridley's path. It was going to be so Jalen Hurts. That's just another example of him increasing his ball placement skills. Go look at that play. 8 minutes, 25 seconds. It was a fake to Bo Scarborough here, and it gets the linebackers to come up. So they saw Bo Scarborough look like he was about to get the ball, and they run up to the line of scrimmage. They're trying to stop the run at all costs. But the Florida State secondary, even though their front seven bit on the play, the Florida State secondary still had everything locked up. It was nowhere for Jalen to go with the ball immediately. Hurts just kind of scrambles for a couple yards here. And Florida State secondary did a great job there. Also, I noticed I had an Xavier Marks sighting. You know, he's the backup slot receiver. Really more like, I guess Jerry Jeudy and Cam Sims are like co-starters. So Xavier Marks is the backup slot receiver, I guess. He was on the left side of the formation coming across. So I was just, oh, look, there's an Xavier Marks sighting. 8 minutes, 1 second. Quick wide receiver screen here. But it was blown up, and this is one of the reasons why we had to punt the ball back and why Calvin really ended up losing yardage. He had 89 yards before this point, and this play did kind of destroy his yardage total. It was a quick wide receiver screen here, and it was blown up by Tavares McFadden. As McFadden he pops up first, he kind of blitzes from his position, and as Calvin really catches the screen on the left side of the line of scrimmage, and he sees McFadden come. He sees the Florida State defense running. You can't really do screens on Florida State. They're really fast. And so Calvin really tries to run back to the right, but McFadden's there. He makes McFadden miss, but he's still running backwards. And by that time, the rest of the Florida State defenders are catching up. The Florida State defensive line, DeMarcus Christmas and Burns and all these guys are chasing him up the field. That shows you how athletic and fast they are. And they just pursued him forever. Just kept running, just kept coming after him, and really lost some of his receiving. He lost about 7, 8, 9 yards. I don't know the exact total, but he lost a lot. I think it was 7. Running backwards and going out of bounds eventually. Just a bad play. He should have just went down or cut up field somewhere. 7 minutes, 23 seconds. Magnificent for protection for Jalen Hurts. Although I would say Florida State, they probably were playing more contained since it was 3rd and 18 at that point. There was nowhere for Hurts. They didn't want Hurts to scramble for a first down. Nowhere for Hurts to go, so he scrambles for a few yards here. Like I said, that Trey Marshall holding came up clutch and stopped them because we had to punt the ball back. Now, Florida State starts to drive with a stretch run. They're really trying to stretch Alabama's defense out and get to the edge, but that doesn't work against Alabama either. Alabama's not slow. Run left with Jocks Patrick, but it actually works this time because for some reason, I think the defensive linemen were angling in and they didn't play the outside leverage correctly. And so Jocks Patrick actually got 9 yards. So number 9 got 9 yards. Mack Wilson is in the game here. I think he made this tackle. The 5-minute, 48-second mark. Not much room here, but it was still a hole big enough for Jocks Patrick to get the first down run here. 5 minutes, 12 seconds. Francois, he did a hard call. He's like, huh? He kind of made Shaun Hamilton come up to the line of scrimmage. And Shaun was coming on a blitz. So it kind of disrupted his timing on his blitz, so he had to stop. And then while he was stopping, though, and kind of regathering himself, Francois hiked the ball, and his blitz really wasn't effective at that point. But the Florida State tackles, they were beaten. They were beaten pretty well here, both the left tackle and the right tackle on this play. Unfortunately, it was a quick hitch, so Florida State is feeling the pressure at this point. Francois is feeling the pressure. Jimbo Fisher knows this. The offense knows this, so they're calling shorter routes now to get the ball out of Francois' hand. The blitzes are coming. Alabama is not going to let Francois pick them apart, so they're like, you know what? He's smart. He holds on to the ball where he makes the right throws. So let's not count on him to make mistakes. Let's make him make mistakes. So we were blitzing them and beating their offensive linemen. So they said we're going to throw short passes, short routes. Let's see, what was the next play? It was a quick hitch to Naquan Murray, and before he can get sacked. Man, I think this is the play. Yeah. Terrell Lewis got hurt on this play. Unfortunately, this is where he got the biceps injury. Was he the one with the biceps? No, Christian Miller was the bicep. Well, I thought. Hold on. When I edit, I'll put it in here. Let me see. The 4 minutes 38-second mark. But yeah, he got hurt though. So the 4 minutes 38-second mark. Jamie Mosley, who was C.J. Mosley's younger brother, actually number 16, he's in at outside linebacker now on the left side of the line of scrimmage. Wilson, we sent Mac Wilson on a blitz, but it was picked up pretty well. So Florida State's starting to pick up our blitzes here. They're trying to adjust. So good adjustments by Florida State. And Francois actually had a pocket here. But Deshaun Hand was beating Derek Kelly on a kind of a loop pass rush coming around. So, they're trying to form a pocket. So Deshaun Hand was running around. And what happened here? And Minkah Fitzpatrick had Naquan Murray locked up, just completely locked up down the right sideline. It was like textbook coverage him against Naquan Murray. So Francois took this one-on-one matchup. He saw Fitzpatrick on Murray down the right sideline, so he threw it, but he knew he had to throw it up the field and away from the defender because Minkah Fitzpatrick was on top of it. Minkah Fitzpatrick was running the route better than Murray. He was on top of him, and he was angling his body kind of diagonal to the receiver so that the receiver couldn't cut up the field or run past him without it being offensive pass interference. It was just textbook coverage, and he was running with him step for step and actually ahead of him. He was turned toward the receiver's inside leg, so it was nothing that Murray could do to get to that ball. Excellent coverage by Minkah Fitzpatrick. Go watch it if you want to see what cornerbacks are supposed to do when covering receivers. And he's turned around looking for the ball too, so good job. Let me see. Yeah, but the ball was just too far anyway, though. Francois was just being safe because he knew the coverage was that good and he didn't want to take a sack. 4 minutes 29 seconds. Christian Miller and Tony Brown came on a blitz here. Christian Miller and Tony Brown on a blitz. Christian Miller's actually still in the game somehow. And Tony Brown got a free shot at Francois. He came in untouched. And ended up being incomplete because Francois had to get rid of the ball. So he's really feeling that. Tony Brown he's fast, right? 4.3, 8.40, something like that. You're not going to be able to outrun him or outmaneuver him. Incomplete. So the next play, 4 minutes, 25 seconds, we got the block punt because that was a third down play. So now they had to punt. Block punt here. Damian Harris is actually untouched on his way to the punter. He was not touched. Damian Harris was untouched on the way to the punter. And he blocked it. So I don't know what happened there. Nick Saban said they took advantage of this. South Florida State did some certain things in their type of special teams protection. And Alabama obviously knew what to do to get there. And so they did it and executed it right. Dylan Moses recovered it. Dylan Moses is on special teams tonight on that game. He really showed up. 4 minutes, 17 seconds. 3 wide receivers left, 1 tight end on the right. The inside run from the shotgun formation to Bo Scarborough. We really should do some I formation running with Bo Scarborough. That would be best, I believe. But the line of scrimmage was stacked up. So the 3 minutes, 35-second marks. It was a good blitz scheme from Florida State with Derwin James. They let Burns run free with Bo Scarborough to pick him up. So what they did was they had Derwin James on the right side of the defense, left side of the offense. Blitz. So Jonah Williams had to step out there to pick up Derwin James, but that left Brian Burns to kind of get a rush at Hurts. Bo Scarborough stepped up because he was in due protection and got a piece of Burns here and actually stayed in front of him a little bit. But Jalen starts moving right naturally, of course, because he doesn't expect his running back to hold off that end forever. Starts moving right, so that's a sign of good maturity and awareness right there. Um, but Sweat disengages Matt Womack. So it's like Sweat was waiting on Jalen Hurts to come that way before. So Sweat was basically containing. He was playing contain, and he was in control. This is how I know he was in control because he's like, okay, Hurts is coming this way. All right, Matt Womack, get out of my way. And he got to sack Jalen Hurts. So Josh Sweat really was controlling Matt Womack here. Bad job, Matt Womack, for getting beat like that. Florida State won a line of scrimmage completely on that play. So at the 2 minutes 50 seconds mark, our tackles, the tackles for Alabama, and Lester Cotton, they should just be ashamed. They should just be ashamed of how they let Florida State in so easily. I mean, they all just got beat. It looked like floodgates. Jonah Williams at least slowed down Brian Burns, but Matt Womack got beat by Josh Sweat with a kind of like knocked down his arms, kind of clubbed his arms down. Sweat just kind of did that and moved to the edge. So Sweat kind of gave him the move, like knocked his arms down, kind of swam by him and went around him to get to Jalen. It was just a shame to see. And worst of all, like the one who just got beat the worst was Lester Cotton as Demarcus Christmas. This guy's a monster. I wouldn't mind seeing my team, Cowboys, draft him again, get some more defensive linemen. But we got some pretty good ones down there. But anyway, uh, Demarcus Christmas, he just moved Lester Cotton's arms out of the way. The Florida State defensive linemen used their hands really well. I've noticed that. They use their hands well, especially the tackles. Demarcus Christmas here, he just kind of fights, getting a little karate with Lester Cotton and moves him out and runs right by him on his way to Jalen Hurts. And I was just like, this is sad. This is sad to see. Um, Hurts just had to scramble. He just had to run away. Nothing he could do. He got about 3 or 4 yards before Derwin James got him. Just great closing speed all the way around by the Florida State defense. They saw Jalen running and they came and got him. So I just can't say enough about the Florida State defense here. Where are we? Where are we? We had to kick a field goal. Had to kick a field goal and settle for it because Florida State really stepped up here in the red zone, and they got the field goal this time. So on the ensuing kickoff, Keith Gavin makes a monumental mistake. I don't know what Keith Gavin was thinking here. So he fumbles the ball initially, like didn't catch it. He picks it up. So I figured, run, but just get down or something, let the ball go to the end zone and down it. Do something. But well, he may not have been able to do that because he was already outside of it. But either way, just go down or something. Don't keep fighting. Just go down. He got to the 5 yard line before Tony Brown was there. That means Alabama's kickoff coverage had to be fast. They were running. To be down at the 5 yard line and get somebody. But anyway, Tony Brown was a 4.38, so that makes sense. Tony Brown got there. Dylan Moses punched out the ball as Tony Brown was hanging on to keep Gavin's legs. So Gavin's legs were held up, and he was like being going to go down eventually. But Dylan Moses got there just in time, got that, punched the ball out of his hand. Like it didn't look like he was trying. It didn't look like he was trying, and look how easily that ball popped out. And Keith Holcomb, the man, just everywhere today. He got the ball, recovered it. Alabama was like, all right, we got it. Now, at the 1 minute 47 second mark, the next play after this recovery on the kickoff, Irv Smith's in at H-back to block. We got 3 wide receivers. Jacob Pugh and Matthew Thomas run up to the line of scrimmage immediately, but they get picked up and blocked. So that's two layers of the defense already nullified here. The scheme was left. The run blocking was left. Damian Harris actually starts left, running left, but he sees Smith, the Irv Smith, taking out the backside defender with the block, and he cuts back right, kind of gives a little jump cut back to the right to the big hole that's opened up now. He runs through it, and Trey Marshall and Derwin James, he runs right through both of their tackles. They both try to tackle him at the same time. It wasn't just a like arm tackle either. They both were able to square up. They squared up and tried to hit him together. Yet he runs right through them for the touchdown. That shows you Damian Harris' talent. He has strength. Those lower legs, like it reminds me kind of just that Mark Ingram style, low center of gravity. I'm gonna run through you, and he did it. That play shows you how valuable Damian Harris is. Man, got a touchdown. 2-point conversion attempt. It was initially all covered up here, so we're going for two to make it 21-7 instead of 27. Uh, but Jalen Hurts rolls right, just kind of giving the impression of a scramble. He actually rolled right with like some swiftness, so it made the defenders go, "Wait, he's running!" And they look, all of them look. You can see their helmets all pop up, and they start moving toward Jalen Hurts. Jalen notices this. He picks his head up, and he's like, "All right, gotcha." He sees really toward the right pylon, right front pylon, and he throws the ball back slightly left of the right pylon. Calvin really sees that, goes back right, catches the ball, while his defender Tavares McFadden is looking at Hurts about the scramble. That shows you what it means to be a dual threat quarterback. When you make the defenders think you're running, and they're scared of you running, and then you can throw the ball accurately to a spot and get your receiver open. That's why teams want a dual threat quarterback. That is why dual threat quarterbacks give everybody trouble, not just Alabama, not just Florida State. It's not certain teams are weak to it and some teams are not. If your dual threat quarterback is playing well, throwing and passing, and they scare a team throwing and passing, you got possibilities. You can really mess with the defense. And this is an example of that. Great play by Jalen Hurts. Great play to keep your eyes up. These are examples of development. Don't listen to media pundits and the hot takes that tell you that Alabama's offense is the same. It is not. And I can't wait to review the Fresno State game to see what they did there. But yeah, nice play. Nice play. Let me see where we're going next. 1 minute 41 seconds. Florida State back on the ball. Blitz from Minkah Fitzpatrick in the slot again. So we just really love doing this. We just at this point it's just fun to blitz Minkah Fitzpatrick. And it was actually also a delayed blitz from Mack Wilson. But Isaiah Buggs on the same play, he runs right through Rick Leonard. Isaiah Buggs, number 49, go watch it. At the 1 minute 41 second mark, runs right through Rick Leonard, who's the right tackle, to pressure Francois immediately. I mean, he ran through him, just kind of like Leonard's like here, and then Buggs just, all right, get through you. But Francois has good pocket awareness. So, he's not a redshirt sophomore quarterback, started for Jimbo Fisher for nothing. His pocket awareness allows him to evade the sacks that are coming his way from Minkah and Mack Wilson and Buggs. He gets away from all three of them, actually, with his good pocket awareness as he moves and slides around. And he gets a 3-yard scramble before being swallowed up by the rest of the defense. So that was actually a great play by Francois to even get away from this pressure. Good job. Great pressure and great coverage. Francois had nowhere to go. That's why he eventually had to scramble. So it's kind of crazy. 1 minute, 7 second marks. They had okay protection for Francois here. But the Bama defensive linemen, they were starting to kind of barrel in. I use barrel because they were just kind of rumbling in here with power. They were like starting to push these Florida State linemen back. Watch Christian Miller in particular. He knocks over trips, or Derek Kelly trips himself. Derek Kelly, Christian Miller really just kind of puts him in some trouble here. He gets Kelly down basically right before Francois throws to the right sideline toward the man, Levi Wallace. Why would you pick on the technician, the guy who plays the cornerback position better than anybody on the team? He tore Levi Wallace, who was on Alden Tate. So Francois, by this time, is feeling the pressure. The blitzes are coming. He doesn't know what to do. And he makes a terrible throw. It was a terrible throw regardless. Tate wasn't open. Tate was not open at any time during this play. He just saw that it was man-to-man cover, one-on-one cover. So rightly, you want to take advantage of a one-on-one opportunity, but not when the cornerback is playing it this well. Tate wasn't open. Levi got him, gave the impression that he was going to press. Levi baited Francois, made him think he was going to press Alden Tate. But he immediately kind of backs up. He stays on down a little bit to make Francois think, but then he backs up and bails a little bit. So Francois was already thinking, okay, so my tall receivers probably got even with the receiver and can maybe get a step. But no, Levi just started bailing. And the ball was just too far inside either way for this to work. It was just too far inside. Even if Levi was pressing in, had lost a step, it still could have been intercepted and knocked down. It was just a terrible throw in that the ball was too far inside and maybe not high enough. I mean, it was pretty high, but it was just way too far inside, too close to that left hash mark. It should have been toward the outside. That's why I tell you, when you throw fade routes and one-on-one down the sideline, you want to throw high and to the outside. This ball was too much inside, but high, and Levi Wallace was able to jump up and intercept the ball. You're just asking for the defensive back to pick your ball when you throw it inside. 57 seconds. Three wide receivers to the right, a wide right. Good protection, so Alabama's on the ball, obviously. Good protection to start the play, but Florida State's secondary had routes downfield, had all the routes down the field locked up as Jalen Hurts was waiting. He just waited in the pocket, trying to pass the ball. And he had to scramble as McFadden blitz here. So they sent the blitz again. So Florida State's also sending blitzes here. And Josh Sweat on Matt Womack again finally came free. Ended up being no gain. Just nowhere for him to go with the ball. 30 seconds left. Inside run for Bo Scarborough. There's a small hole in the middle. It's a small hole in the middle, but the linebackers kind of stood in there, to kind of fill it up. But Bo Scarborough, this play was just nasty. He lowered his shoulder and put Matthew Thomas on his butt. I mean, you literally heard the smack on TV. Shoulder against Matthew Thomas, and Thomas went flying back on his butt. Only a couple yards though, so Roderick Hoskins was able to help out and tackle Scarborough. But just go look at that. Bo Scarborough, man. He's a scary kid. 30 seconds left in the third quarter. That play, oh man. And that play, they just kind of let the clock run out and went on to the fourth quarter. That was a great play to end the third quarter on. But yeah, that's my third quarter analysis. Fourth quarter analysis is coming up. See you. Let's talk about some of the things you saw in this video or heard and some things that you remember. Thanks for watching.